My name is Nora Bennett. I'm 30, and for most of my life, I was considered the awkward one. Just a few weeks ago, I overheard my father telling my brother that I was too embarrassing to be seen at his engagement party. I was standing in the hallway of our Austin home, coffee in hand, when his words hit me like a punch. "Your brother's fiancé comes from one of the top families in the country," he said, voice sharp. "You'll humiliate us, Nora. Do you understand?" It was like he was managing a project, not speaking to his daughter. Ethan had just gotten engaged to Laya Harrington, heir to a massive resort empire, the kind of family featured in glossy hotel magazines and lifestyle blogs. And suddenly, my messy, caffeine-fueled, spreadsheet-filled life was a threat to their image. They didn't care that I spent my nights rebuilding hotel revenue models or running simulations on struggling boutique resorts in Austin. To them, I was just the girl who asked too many questions at dinner and didn't know which fork to use. Meanwhile, my parents were packing Ethan's suitcase with designer outfits for the New Year's Eve gala at Laya's Miami resort, a celebration they hoped would cement our family's elite status. I, on the other hand, was told to stay home. My presence was considered risky, too unpredictable for their carefully polished optics. But what they didn't know was that those same in-laws had been quietly trusting me for months. Under a pseudonym, I had been saving their properties with precise analytics, fine-tuning pricing, and boosting occupancy rates, while they assumed I was just their brother's shy sister. And when the night came that they tried to erase me, they would find my name hanging in gold frames in the lobby, proof that the awkward girl they tried to hide was actually holding all the cards. Growing up, I never thought of myself as embarrassing, I just noticed details others overlooked. At family barbecues, kids ran in the yard while I counted how many hot dogs were taken and puzzled over why Uncle Mite always left early. I asked questions adults didn't want to answer. Why invest in that company if the debt is sky high? Or how is it okay to say we're doing fine if mom works 2 jobs? Laughter followed, then silence. My parents would whisper, "Nora, just be normal. Smile. Talk about school." Ethan, on the other hand, was the golden child, smooth, charming, always knowing the right thing to say. At one graduation dinner, I accidentally spilled marinara over a guest's white dress. My mother froze, my father's grip was tight, and I realized then I didn't belong in their world of optics and appearances. So I stopped trying to fit in. I buried myself in spreadsheets, coding, and analytics. While other kids chased Instagram followers or college parties, I was running simulations for a tiny Austin bed and breakfast that barely had a marketing budget. I tested pricing models, tracked online traffic, and tweaked campaigns in ways that even seasoned marketing agencies wouldn't think of. By college, I was known among small hotel owners as the data wizard in Austin. My dorm room doubled as a command center, computers stacked with screens showing charts, occupancy rates, and ad performance at all hours. One coffee-fueled night, I realized something most people don't understand. Data isn't just numbers, it's power. In the right hands, numbers can change the fate of a company, a career, or even an entire industry. And I was just getting started. Back home, though, my parents barely noticed. "Still doing that online thing?" Mom asked, masking her skepticism with a polite smile. Dad waved it off. "It's temporary. She'll get a real job eventually." Meanwhile, Ethan was the golden child, smooth, charming, always knowing the right thing to say. At one graduation dinner, I accidentally spilled marinara over a guest's white dress. My mother froze, my father's grip was tight, and I realized then I didn't belong in their world of optics and appearances. So I stopped trying to fit in. I buried myself in spreadsheets, coding, and analytics. While other kids chased Instagram followers or college parties, I was running simulations for a tiny Austin bed and breakfast that barely had a marketing budget. I tested pricing models, tracked online traffic, and tweaked campaigns in ways that even seasoned marketing agencies wouldn't think of. One sticky Austin afternoon, as I stared bleary-eyed at a spreadsheet, an email popped up that changed everything. The subject line read, "Urgent, mid-size resort chain in trouble. Can you help?" At first, I thought it was another small client, something I'd handle between coffee refills and late-night coding. But the more I read, the more I realized this was different. The resort had lost bookings post-pandemic, their marketing team had burned through a seven-figure budget with almost nothing to show for it, and they were desperate for someone who could actually make sense of the mess. The call came hours later. "This is Graham Harrington," the voice said, smooth but tense. "We've been told you can pull numbers out of the fire. No video, no introductions, just the clarity I needed." Their flagship properties were half empty, competitors were stealing market share, and the last agency had left them scrambling. I listened, asked questions, and quickly realized this was just a much bigger version of the same puzzle I'd been solving for years. Their pricing was static in a world that demanded dynamic strategies, ads were targeting the wrong demographics in the wrong cities, and their website, a nightmare for mobile users trying to book. Over the next few weeks, I became the hidden force behind Harrington and Vale's revival. I implemented dynamic pricing that responded to real-time demand, rerouted ad budgets towards high-intent audiences, and created packages for remote workers and weekend travelers. I even structured part of my fee as performance-based. If my numbers worked, we both won. If not, I earned almost nothing. By the second month, occupancy was climbing, revenue was surging, and even the board, once skeptical, was impressed. Late one evening, Graham called. "You have no idea what you've done for us, Nora. We want to honor your work properly." I laughed, hesitant. Recognition wasn't my goal, but later he sent a mock-up of a wall of innovation at one of their flagship resorts, a long corridor lined with framed case studies. Near the center, my name and photo, Nora Bennett, data and growth strategist. The description highlighted the turnaround I led, from dynamic pricing to marketing optimization. All this time, my parents were oblivious to the fact that the girl they labeled embarrassing was now integral to the empire they admired from a distance. My brother, Ethan, would soon step into this world, engaged to Laya Harrington, the millionaire heir I had quietly helped. The irony? I was already inside the very doors my family had worked so hard to be accepted into, and they had no idea. New Year's Eve arrived, and with it, the glittering Miami gala my family had been dreaming about for months. My parents buzzed around the house like it was a movie set, Mom clutching a brand new dress she probably charged to a credit card, Dad fussing over a tie he pretended was designer. Ethan was glowing with excitement, eager to step into a world my parents considered elite. And me? I was told to stay home. I watched them leave, Uber waiting at the curb, carrying their champagne dreams and perfectly packed designer bags. I waved from the doorway, the awkward daughter left behind while they stepped into the spotlight. Outside, the city sparkled with fireworks and rooftop parties, a neon reminder that life was moving without me. I tried to distract myself, opened a movie, ordered takeout, but my phone kept buzzing. Photos from my mother of crystal chandeliers, videos from Ethan of champagne towers, glimpses of Laya descending a grand staircase in a silver gown that looked straight out of a magazine. I could hear Dad whispering in the background, "That's my son. He's marrying into the Harrington family." But then I opened a different window, my laptop, still running the analytics dashboard for Harrington and Vale. Reservations were streaming in, occupancy rates climbing, revenue bars filling. The very empire my brother was celebrating, I had helped save it. My work was turning their dreams into reality while they blissfully ignored me. An email from Graham Harrington landed in my inbox. Subject: Year-end update and special request. "You didn't just tweak a few ads, Nora. You changed the way we understand our business. We want to honor that properly." Attached was a mock-up of the wall of innovation at their flagship resort. Framed case studies lined the hall, highlighting the people who saved the company when all hope seemed lost. And there, at the center, was my photo, Nora Bennett, data and growth strategist. My months of hidden work were now immortalized in gold frames for guests, board members, and clients to see. While my family thought they were keeping me out, They didn't realize I had already secured my place inside. The very world they tried to shield me from had been mine all along. I leaned back, watching the confetti of photos and notifications light up my screen. They believed this night was about appearances, about keeping me hidden. But the truth was simple. I was already part of their story, quietly controlling the narrative, unseen yet undeniable. The Harrington flagship in Miami looked like something out of a magazine. Marble floors, towering palms and oversized planters, floral arrangements that probably cost more than my first car. The air hummed with money and ambition. Staff in crisp uniforms guided guests toward the grand ballroom like clockwork, every detail curated to perfection. I arrived early, not as Ethan's sister, but as one of the strategic partners. A coordinator handed me a badge with my name printed cleanly in black letters, Nora Bennett, Data and Growth Strategist. For the first time, my identity wasn't being minimized. No more, "she does something online," whispers. No polite nods from people who barely saw me. Here, I was exactly who I had always been, unseen but essential. The wall of innovation stretched along one side of the foyer, gold frames lining the hallway, each case study telling the story of a business rescued from disaster. My frame sat near the center, my photo, my name, my work immortalized in the space where guests would walk, clinking glasses under chandeliers. I felt a quiet satisfaction. And then I heard it, Mom's voice, high and nervous, echoing through the lobby. "Oh my goodness, look at that chandelier!" I turned just in time to see my parents and Ethan enter. My father's suit suddenly looked cheap under the lights, my mother clutching her bag as if it might run away, and Ethan walking ahead, proud yet oblivious to the storm about to hit. Instead of hiding, I stood a few feet from my own framed photo waiting. Staff already knew who I was. One stepped forward. "Ms. Bennett, Mr. Harrington wants you near the wall of innovation for the announcement." Celeste Harrington tapped her champagne glass, calling attention. Conversations softened into silence. "Thank you all for being here. Tonight is about family, partnerships, and the people who held this company up when things looked impossible." She gestured toward the wall. "One of those people is someone very dear to us now. This is Nora Bennett." Time seemed to freeze. My parents' jaws dropped. Ethan's head snapped toward me. Celeste read the plaque. Data and Growth Strategist, the mind behind the turnaround that kept these resorts alive during the toughest year in travel. Dozens of eyes swiveled between me, Ethan, and my parents. The silence said it all. Graham Harrington stepped up beside Celeste, gaze sharp, turning politely but firmly to my family. "You never told us your daughter was our Nora." Thomas opened his mouth, then froze. Mom stammered, We didn't know." Graham's words cut through the tension. "Important? Without her, this gala doesn't happen. Half the people in this room wouldn't have jobs today." And just like that, the awkward daughter they tried to hide was the centerpiece of the night. My face, my name, my achievements, front and center, undeniable. The room was buzzing with champagne and applause, but I felt a quiet calm. My parents were frozen, trying to process what they were seeing. My father's jaw was tight, my mother's hands were clutching her bag a little too hard, and Ethan, well, he looked like he had just realized the world didn't revolve around his carefully polished image. For years, they had labeled me awkward, embarrassing, too unpredictable. They thought keeping me away from elite circles would protect them. But now, standing under the soft golden light of that Miami ballroom, I realized something powerful. I had been in control all along, not because I wanted revenge, but because I knew my worth. Graham Harrington approached me, smiling. "We've been telling everyone about you," he said. "I can't wait for them to see the person behind the numbers." I nodded, letting the irony sink in. They had tried to erase me from this world, and yet here I was, not just present, but central to the night. My parents finally cornered me in a quieter hallway later, voices shaky. You made us look foolish," Mom whispered. "We had no idea." I looked at them, calm but firm. You tried to hide me because you didn't see my value, but the truth is, I've been building it this whole time. You just weren't paying attention." Dad opened his mouth, trying to reclaim authority. "You could have warned us, Nora. We would have prepared differently." Prepared differently for what? For pretending you're proud of me this time? I don't need that. I've always known what I could do, even when you didn't. Ethan stepped forward, eyes glassy. "Maybe we handled things wrong," he said, "but you have to know it's because we wanted things to go smoothly." I smiled, a mix of relief and triumph. "I will always be your sister, I will always be their daughter, but I'm done shrinking to fit your expectations. My worth is not up for negotiation." Back in the ballroom, as I stood among the guests, something shifted inside me. The applause that greeted my name wasn't polite clapping from people who barely noticed me. It was respect from those who understood the work, the skill, the power of quiet persistence. My glow-up wasn't about the dress I wore or the parties I attended. It was about claiming my place, refusing to dim myself for anyone else's ego, and letting my achievements speak louder than anyone's judgment. That night, my parents walked past my framed photo again and again, a silent reminder that I had always belonged, not because they said so, but because I had proven it. If you've ever been the awkward one, the extra one, or the person your family or peers tried to hide, remember this: your value doesn't depend on their approval. Build it, own it, and let the world see what they refused to notice. Sometimes the most powerful revenge isn't cruelty, it's living your life so well that your success speaks louder than their words ever could. Have you ever been underestimated by people closest to you? Drop your story in the comments. Let's remind each other your worth is yours to claim, and no one can take that away.